What's up, guys? I'm so sorry, I will never do that again. What's up, guys? Let's get a few things out of the way. Don't forget to whoosh and to whoosh and to do the bella ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. When I was in school, people used to call me Ding Dong. So obviously by the title, this video is going to be about multiplayer. Just a heads up, don't forget to stick around till the end because I want to post up a poll on the video which will appear on the top, one of the top corners. So please participate because I'm really curious about what you guys think. You know, in the previous video that I made on Dragon Age, I asked some people, you know, what would you think would make a good Dragon Age multiplayer? And the majority of people said, the best type of multiplayer is the one that's not there. As much as I agree, we know that that's not gonna happen. And not just EA, I feel like every company is doing this. Even The Last of Us had a multiplayer. Sometimes it's a bit more intrusive than other times, but it's a thing. I personally think that it's lucrative for specific types of games, and they've existed for years. So you can't just stick multiplayer anywhere you want and expect it to do as good as these multiplayer games. I love chocolate. I'm not a fan of fish. It's kind of like, it's basically the same thing. Giving me a plate of fish, I look at it and I go, no thank you, I don't want it. And then it's like putting fish on top of a brownie. I love the brownie on its own, the RPG, like, oof, jazz. But then you put a big slab of fish on it, and it's like, you know, jazz. So they're not gonna get rid of these online things, especially EA. Like, EA is just like, no, we're always gonna have online because it's popular or whatever. Like, it's the thing. Single players, ew. I feel like multiplayer, when you're sticking it into a genre that typically doesn't have a multiplayer, I think developers really need to think about how the multiplayer will blend with that game. So I've always thought that a co-op type of multiplayer would do great with Dragon Age. I'm thinking that, like, Fable style, like Fable 2, Divinity Original Sin, and even Neverwinter Nights and Baldur's Gate. For example, in Fable 2, you were the main characters, but then you could have somebody else come in as the other character that you weren't playing. And the cutscenes and stuff, the first player would be the one that's experiencing the cutscenes, and the second player would just sit back and, you know, wait until you were done seeing the cutscene. I think it would be really cool if it was both players seeing the cutscene, kind of like Gears of War. I mean, in Dragon Age, you already have a team of characters. Like, let's say in Dragon Age Inquisition, if somebody wants to play as a mage, they could just go in as a Vivian or Dorian or Solus, you know, whoever they wanted, the type of style that they wanted. You're really just controlling Dorian. He would still have his banter and everything. It would literally be just like you going down the line and playing as Dorian. Another way that I was thinking could be a fun multiplayer would be to separate the stories. So like in the Dragon Age Inquisition multiplayer, the way that they did the characters was really cool because they had names and they had personalities and they had this little background blurb and stuff. Either have the player create their own character for a multiplayer and they make a party of 4 and then they just go through a story. They could almost make it episodic. And I think that would be really, really fun. Somebody in my previous video in the comments, they said that the flashpoints from Star Wars The Old Republic, that those were pretty fun because it was a group of people and there was actually a story to it. And your decisions mattered to how the story played out. That multiplayer would absolutely correlate with the single player. It doesn't feel out of place. It feels like it's part of it. Not like so much that it affects the single player, but separate so that people could have that option of playing or not. So the poll for this video is going to appear in one of these corners. Would you prefer a co-op type of multiplayer where you get to play as one of the party members, or would you prefer a separate multiplayer campaign with its own story? Somebody else said, I thought was really interesting, they said, well, what if they made the multiplayer like a Wicked Grace, like a different, like maybe like the card game, you know, it was separate. They can make it that the multiplayer is kind of like war table missions, and maybe that's the only way that they incorporate the war table. So people that just want to play the single player, they wouldn't have to do the war table. They would be doing what they have to do in other ways, through side quests, you know, meaningful side quests, and the war table would be completely just multiplayer. That would give you extra things like loot, different things like that, not things that you really need. You know, like if somebody doesn't want to play multiplayer, they'd be missing out. Not like that, just like extra, or like in a way of getting more hunting items or mining items. If you have your own suggestion, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm really interested to see what you guys think. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.